What's up, YouTube? Dr. Kemp here, Hammond Doc. In this segment, I'm going to talk about evaluating a Leslie upper driver, like a vintage V21 or other upper drivers that are used in a Leslie tone cabinet. Now, this is a special session or segment or video for me because recently I met a person who deals with organs and restores Hammonds and works on them, and he's a tech. And I asked him, I said, how do you go about evaluating a V21? And his response to me was, I don't show anybody that. I don't tell anybody how I do it, and I don't show anybody my operation, and I don't want anybody to know how I do what I do. Well, I'm going to show you how I go about evaluating the integrity, the sound quality of a Leslie upper driver. So I'm going to let the secret out of the bag, if it is some secret. I'll show you how I do it. Other people may do it differently, but I'll show you how I do it. But before I show you how I do it, let me show you some things that I've tried. I mean, I've tried using sound generators, and I'll show you a couple of sound generators that I have. I have some vintage sound generators that I've hooked up to Leslie amplifier, Leslie drivers, upper drivers, and let me just show them to you. Let me remove the camera off the tripod, and we'll go to my shop here. I have a couple of very nice vintage sound generators here. Here is a RCA audio, I said sound, but audio generators. This is a nice RCA. I mean, it works perfectly, does what it's supposed to do, emit an audio signal. And here's another nice one, Elenco audio frequency generator. So these are nice audio generators, and they emit sounds through an upper driver. But I tried them out on a driver that I knew had a diaphragm that was not in place, and the diaphragm or the upper driver didn't buzz when I used those audio generators. So I was able to tell using the audio generators that the upper driver worked. I have a smaller one too. I have a small, more modern audio generator, and all of these tell me that the upper driver works, but it doesn't tell me how well it works. So I'm going to show you the setup that I use to determine not only if the upper driver works, but to also determine how well the upper driver works. So let me turn the camera around, put on the light here, and here is my setup. Now what I have here are several components. wanted to get my pointer just to point out to you the various components. Of course, I have a Leslie 122 amplifier here that is connected to a Hammond B3 organ here. This cord is running, this is audio input coming from a Leslie crossover. Okay, and the crossover is running out to a Leslie upper driver right here. So that's the setup, and I'm just using alligator clips to connect the upper driver to the crossover, and then of course the crossover is connected to the amplifier. That's the setup. Now I'm going to go over here and play the organ and listen to what it sounds like as I play the organ through the speaker. Alright, so what I hear is I hear buzzing at some of the lower frequencies. Now what I'm going to do is, this was a used driver that I picked up, that I purchased from somewhere, and I'm going to unhook that. This is a V21, a vintage V21 that I've already evaluated. So I know it sounds good. Let's hear it in comparison to what we just heard. Here we go. Now, I can tell the difference between that V21 and this PD60 that this used, that's a vintage V21 that you just heard, and this is a used PD60. And from listening to this, it sounds to me that the diaphragm has shifted in this PD60, and that it needs to be adjusted Um, now, or it could need to be replaced. After I've tried working on a PD 60 before. In fact, I've replaced the diaphragm in a PD 60, and it's one of the most frustrating tasks in the shop that I've ever had to deal with in my electronic shop, replacing the diaphragm in a PD 60 upper driver. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Maybe I'll have to send it to somebody that's more proficient than I am at replacing the diaphragms in these, but or sell it. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I can't put this in a Leslie cabinet. It's not ready to go as it is. This V21 is ready to go. That's a good sounding V21. It sounds clear. It sounds clean, and we could play that V21. I can get one more. Let me get one more off the shelf. Here is a brand new Hammond Suzuki, right here. Hammond Suzuki Leslie ferrofluid driver. Let's try it out. This thing deserves its own video, but let's listen to it in comparison to what we've just heard. So I'm gonna let's put you back over here. I feel the heat on these tubes. I want to avoid burning myself. I hear that ferrofluid. I can hear it. Here we go. I'm going to go play it now. Oh, it's loud already. Listen how loud that is. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now. In my opinion, that's the way to go right there. That Leslie ferrofluid from Hammond Suzuki, brand new. Did you hear how strong that was? Now, I mean, we played the V21, and it's a good V21. It sounds good. It could go in a Leslie, and it's gonna sound vintage. But that's a brand new Leslie ferrofluid sold by Hammond Suzuki, and I just recently purchased that. And you've heard it for the first time. I heard it. I just heard it for the very first time. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that sound because that thing was, I mean, was it loud or what? It was loud. So can you just imagine putting that thing in a Leslie tone? That thing is, once I put that thing in a cabinet, it's going to blast. I'm excited about that. I'm going to have to buy more of those, and I'm impressed with that. And I'm going to have to get more of those and stock my shelf with those, and that's what I'm going to use. I bought another one from someone, a Lonco upper driver speaker that I purchased, and it's not, I mean, I tried it out, and it's more like the V21, and it sounds smooth like the V21, but it wasn't, and it's not loud like that. It's no way was it as loud as it was what we just heard. So, all right. So, for the downside of that PD60 that doesn't sound good, to the upside of this Hammond Suzuki Leslie ferrofluid driver, you were able to see or to hear. we were listening, and we were able to hear the differences. So anyway, that's how I do it. And if you have any comments, hit me up there at the bottom of the video there on Facebook. So that's all I have for today. So take care. Peace.